Hello and welcome to episode number 80 of the Perth to Paisley podcast. Heads up right now. Neither me and Adam are feeling 100%. Adam's not feeling too well. I have finally, after 2 years of avoiding it, I have COVID. So neither of us are feeling amazing. But Adam, generally, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I think it's primarily down to what I've had for my tea. I have stuffed my face with a 12-inch pizza, and given the nick of me, I'm skinned down of bones. I'm now feeling the full effects. I feel like I've doubled in my body weight, but that'll be nothing in comparison to how you're feeling, I would assume.
Yeah, not great. Two years of avoiding it, and then just...
That's a good run, to be fair. You did well.
True.
You did do well. The snipers were obviously out from the get-go, and you've somehow managed to sneak your way past them all till now.
Exactly.
And in fairness, with the international break coming up, you've picked a cracking time to get it. So fair play.
Exactly. So if this feels a bit more low energy and you're like, why is Daniel wrapped up in a hoodie and stuff like that? It's not because we're not happy or excited, because we absolutely are, due to the fact that at the weekend, we went 14 points clear in front after calmly and comfortably dispatching Livy. However, there is a few things we need to speak about first, and this is actually before Around the Ground. I haven't even spoke to Adam about this, but there's 3 things we've got to speak about. So this is great. The first one is by no means a happy thing at all, but everybody will no doubt have seen on Twitter last week the fellow podcaster and Hearts TV commentator, Laurie Dunsire, shared the tragic news of his son, Lewis, passing away mere days after he was born prematurely. Adam, I don't think we've ever spoken about this publicly, but without Laurie, there is no Perth to Paisley podcast, because Laurie introduced us to each other.
One of the worst things he's ever done.
It is, exactly. what was he playing at? Because he needed 2 people to work with the Hearts women team, which is how we were first met. So we are lucky enough to not only know Laurie just as a fellow podcaster, as the Hearts TV commentator, which is how most people know him, but we know him as like a friend, genuinely as a close friend. And the outpouring of support and love was incredible. I don't think anybody, unless they've been in the same situation, can imagine what both Laurie and his partner Gail are going through, but just from us both, and I'm assuming you echo the same, Adam, that we just are thinking about you, Laurie, and hope you're doing okay. And then
100%, and our best wishes to Gail, and rest in peace, young Lewis.
Exactly. So that we wanted to say that at the start. Please don't take any jokes that we're going to make about the game or just how lighthearted we are as not meaning anything. It's just, of course, we're going to focus on positive things, but wanted to get that message out. Another way to immediately segue into positivity is if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my background has changed, because if you haven't seen on Twitter, I shared it. My dad's friend is an artist called Mark Janssen, and back in 2003, he was commissioned by the National Portrait Gallery to complete Scotland's dream team in portrait form, and one of those individuals was Hearts legend, arguably our greatest ever player.
He probably is our greatest ever player.
In terms of what he would go on to do in his career.
Can I just say, before you get on to talking about that, the fact that Hearts only really paid tribute in the championship season really frustrates me. Yeah. I feel as though they should have named the main stand after the individual that you will come on to, but carry on.
I think that's fair, because that individual is Dave Mackay, of course, from us player, most famously Spurs. He won multiple FA Cups there and did incredibly well for Scotland. So I am now lucky enough to own a copy of the portrait by Mark. He's an incredible artist. So this is now going to be in the background. If you can't really see it because it's on the wall, I will flash a photo up here of it that I posted on Twitter. But yeah, it's just quite cool. And I'm a big fan.
I've got a bit of envy. I'm not going to lie. Down here, all I've really got is my foundation scarf. And not a lot of other... I say that. I've got a wee pen and dice down in the window so that when folk are just wandering around the campus, they look up and, there's Adam's room because there's the lame Hearts dice and his wee pennant. So, yeah, maybe need to correct that. And that Dave Mackay print is an absolute cracker. Also, can I just, I know we're going to go off into tangents, but let's just be honest. The game that we're going to speak about was rubbish, so we're as well just dragging this out. One of my favourite football films, The Damned United. Have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
I just love the Dave Mackay and Hearts references.
It's great.
Absolutely tremendous. And obviously, like you say, most notably with Hearts and Spurs, but also did his deed for Derby County as well. So yeah, again, needs to be a statue. I'd love to just say, sit in the Dave Mackay. I just think that's got a lovely ring to it. But Hearts, for whatever reason, just didn't. I don't know why.
I'm not sure, but it would
why?
Be
why no Dave Mackay? That's what I want to know, Hearts.
And finally, just before we go into the Around the Grounds, I feel like we should dedicate its own segment here at the start just to speak about it, because the guy that we have, I think a lot of Hearts podcasts have spoken about it. You've christened him midfield magician, finally got his first goal for the club. How did you, and what a goal it was. How do you feel about Loic Damour's first goal for Le Mans? It was fantastic if you haven't seen it. It was unbelievable.
Oh, you got me off.
Definitely the best goal.
Like a total fanny if you're watching the YouTube version.
Definitely the best goal scored by a Hearts midfielder at the weekend. Unbelievable. Did you think I was going to mention someone else? Like
an absolute worldie, because you know me, a big Le Mans fan. Obviously, keep my tabs on the French third tier. It was great. Absolutely loved it. From like the fact that he still has a contract. I managed to forget about this for several months, and here you are in March reminding me that he's got a couple of years left.
He's got a year left, so he'll be playing for us in the Europa Conference. Cannot wait.
Oh my god! Him coming in for Cammy Devlin or Benny Beningame.
It's a natural successor. Let's be honest.
Would you take Big Pete being let go if it meant that
if they would have got an extra 3 years? Yes,
they got more action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god!
So
let's move on.
We will now move to the actual game that we.
Thank God! Never have I ever wanted to talk about Hearts playing Livingston more than I do right now.
Yeah, Adam's favourite opposition.
Oh, love them. Hi, Amon Viewpod. Hope you're well.
We'll get into that later as well. Actually, that's a good point. But before we do that, we will go around the grounds. As there was actually quite an exciting weekend of Scottish Football Action out with our game, which was very routine.
There had to be one stinker, and we've been able to provide the cinch with it this weekend.
Exactly. The other very comfortable game was at Celtic Park, as Celtic battered 10 men Ross County 4-0, 3 goals inside 33 minutes, I think it was. Then Aberdeen got the result that we had hoped for last week on the podcast, as they also beat 10 men against Hibs. They won 3-1. Then the most exciting games, I think a lot of people christened them, was St Mirren Dundee United. Dundee United scoring a 96th minute winner away in Paisley. And then St Johnstone not really continuing this great run of form, but managing to get results as they won 2-1 as well against Motherwell, who are still yet to win in the league in 2022. And then on the Sunday, Rangers just about got out of Dens Park with all 3 points as Aaron Ramsey and Connor Goldson rescued another 2-1 victory. What did you make of the other results?
Only I'd had some more 2-1s in my predictions for who scored. I might have, got one. I did think that I was headed for a correct score with St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1. However, Callum Hendry decided to turn into Van Basten. What a goal. Can I just say, fantastic standard of goals this weekend.
Yes.
Multiple matches within Scotland's top tier. Aberdeen 3, Hibs 1 was great. Delighted for your man, Jim Goodwin, and the Dandy Dons. I don't know why Hibs are mourning at Ryan Porteous' red card.
It's unbelievable.
It's as blatant a chopping as you'll ever see.
It's a Mortal Kombat move. It's that's ridiculous.
A full finish him.
Yes, exactly.
I can't have any complaints. Not really bothered to see Aberdeen win. devastated that the fourth best team in the country were scalped at Celtic Park. Not nice to see. It was not great to be a Staggy on Saturday afternoon. What did I say? Yeah, St Johnstone. Oh, disappointing to see them win. Really? Come on. If there is a football god, Arbroath will be the ones to relegate St Johnstone.
Arbroath are not coming up.
Just throwing it out there, but I agree with you. I think now that Kelly have seized top spot, and but hey, Arbroath will settle for a playoff place, so I'm remaining optimistic. St Mirren 1, Dundee United 2. Fantastic goals from Jay Henderson, who I've watched a couple of times now. Really good young player. Dylan Levitt as well, another cracker. I'd quite like to see if we could maybe tempt him on loan from Man United. Don't know what his contract situation is, but decent.
Where would he fit in though?
I don't know. Well, look, if Big Pedro's going to go, and we were linked to Connor Ronan, I think Dylan Levitt's probably a better footballer. And when I heard on the tannoy that there was a late winner in Paisley, I thought, brilliant. That's it. I've got another correct scoreline. And then it said St Mirren 1, Dundee United 2, as opposed to the other way around. Fantastic limbs in the United end, I might add. It looked batshit crazy. I saw the video of this one guy who's literally up the back. Absolutely. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
It looked very good. And then I was working Sunday. Had Sky go up on the laptop, so was able to watch Dundee take the lead against Rangers, and I was thinking, another Euro hangover. Like, what is going? Like Dundee. I instantly cast back and thought, even we won at Dens Park earlier on in the season, albeit we'll not mention the Tynecastle matches. But talk about leaving it late. Oh, I also saw a brilliant tweet with regards to Rangers playing on a Thursday, and it's like a fresh pint of beer and Moretti, and then Rangers playing on the Sunday, and it's like Asda Price Lager, which I thought was hilarious. So all in all, any real surprises? Maybe United at St Mirren, and Aberdeen getting the better of Hibs, maybe. How Motherwell still haven't won this calendar year. The last league win on Boxing Day. Like we're in March.
We're almost out of March.
If you break that down, that's mad.
The next time they'll play will be in April.
And yet, earlier on in the season,
they were our closest rivals.
Like the first clash that we played them and beat them 2-0 at Tiny, we were, I think, third and fourth.
Yeah.
And it looked like I think it was like their best start since '94 was like the stat being thrown around. They were doing really well, playing well, despite a shocking League Cup campaign. And now it looks like they're back to what they were doing in the Premier Sports Cup, which is weird. I think Graham Alexander's on a sugary peg.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak ill of other managers on here, but it's not looking great.
However, it's looking great down in Gorgie. As
there you go, you're welcome for that segue,
and for
blasting the listeners with 5 minutes of total nonsense. You're all welcome.
Hey, they get an hour of nonsense every week, so it's fine.
It's very true.
As we said, Adam's favourite team out with Heart of Midlothian, Livingston, travelled from Midlothian, a short trip to Tynecastle.
Lovely little jaunt along the M8, wasn't it? It was great.
Definitely. And Hearts named almost a unchanged 11, barring one change, and it was the change that many, including ourselves, had said they wanted Ben Woodburn out, Aaron McInnes in, and that is exactly what Robbie did. So we lined up in the 4-2-3-1. It was Craig Gordon in goals, Andy Halliday and Nathaniel Atkinson fullback, Stephen Kingsley and Craig Halkett in the middle, Benny and Haring sitting in front of them, and then a front three of Aaron McInnes, Barry Mackay, Liam Boyce just behind Ellis Sims. There isn't really much to speak about apart in terms of the team, but I am assuming you were happy McInnes was starting.
Very much so. And my only concern prior to the match, as you might have seen in Aaron Fraser's vlog, was hoping that Aaron McInnes makes the most of a rare start. Everybody knows now that despite being a supposed doppelganger, I'm not Ben Woodburn's biggest fan. So, yeah, look, his assist for the St Mirren goal was great. Like we said, but again, for the best part of an hour, I'm questioning why he's on the park. You're not telling me that Aaron McEneff could be any worse than Ben Woodburn.
I thought you meant McEneff for a second there, and I was like, what? But no, you mean Ben Woodburn, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like I say, it was the team that I'd predicted, I was wanting, so was rightfully feeling confident ahead of kick-off, and just hopeful that he'd take his opportunity.
And well, Hearts, whilst McEneff may not have directly taken it, Hearts definitely did, as within 3 minutes, we were off to the races as Barry Mackay picks up the ball, plays it out to Boyce, who was kind of on the Wheatfield side, slips it through to Sims, who plays a really nice ball across the face of the Livingston box. Atkinson gets to it and somehow doesn't score. Like, I've watched it back 100%. So many times. Should score. It bundles away about a wee bit. And then Benny Beningame. I like to hear that Robbie Nielsen listens to the podcast. That was a big thing, because after I said he scored a tackle, Nielsen said actually he's now scored 2 tackles because Benny got his second in as many games right in front of you yet again.
I heard that from Robbie. I thought that was really funny. Like London buses, isn't it? You wait the best part of what? 7 months? 7-8 months for Benny to pop up with a goal.
25 games, I think it is.
Fantastic. And 2 tackles in as many weeks. What else can be said? I love him so much. I was genuinely buzzing to see everybody else buzzing. But my annoyance from that particular attack is the fact that Atkinson should score, and given the 90 minutes, which was probably his best in a Hearts shirt, I feel as though his goal would have been justified. I see your disagreement. We'll get onto that.
Let's speak about him now, because
right, okay.
Craig Fowler gave him an 8 in Evening News. He was the only Hearts player in the SPFL Team of the Week. I don't think anybody played badly. I think everybody played well.
You wouldn't have been surprised if any of that back four would have been involved, to be honest, given how not routine it was, but how little threat Livy posed.
I just felt Atkinson was... I thought he was all right, but I don't see where all this, like, love...
Maybe we're getting back to, like, standards of old. You know, when clubs go through, like, shit spells. So, like, we had such a torrid time with goalkeepers in our last Premiership campaign. Craig Gordon comes in, makes a save, and we're all like, oh, my God, we've not been used to this feeling for however long. When clubs don't perform, standards drop. And because we've performed so well this season, it's not to say that the standards have raised so high, but maybe we're sort of looking beyond just average. We're looking for that little bit better than average. So look, you're well within your rights.
As I say, I don't think
his performance.
I wouldn't even say criticise, because I don't think he did anything wrong. Really,
it's the assist for the goal, mind you.
That's what I was about to say. So that's what I was about to say. I want him to be trained now exclusively as a winger. I want him to join the Ginnelly, GMS, Woodburn, Mackay group.
Well, that's been the problem position, isn't it? As we've said numerous times on here.
Exactly. I don't think he can defend, because he didn't need to at the weekend, so it didn't matter. Like, nothing happened down his side, and anything that kind of did was, like, fine.
Can I say, which was a surprise, given I think everybody was well aware of the form that Alan Forrest was in for Livy. I was personally delighted to see no Bruce Anderson, who I assume is injured.
He's out for the rest of the season.
Was not aware of that at all.
Yeah,
I think that's been kept pretty under wraps. And I see Joel Newbley coming in for him. That's obviously, I think, only about the second, maybe third time I've seen Joel Newbley in the flesh. He is absolutely enormous. Yeah. I could not, like, I'm in the 34th row and I can see the size of him down on that park. He is massive. He's a brick shithouse, but can play. So when I saw that he'd moved centrally, given Bruce Anderson had been involved in the tiny game and hadn't scored in the cup, it's not to say that I was concerned about us defensively, but I think it's testament to the back four that we didn't really feel under threat from our opposition on Saturday. And again, I include Nathaniel Atkinson in that. I don't know whether, like, what is it for you that you're not giving him props with regards to performance?
As I say, I'd give him like a 6 or a 7. right? But some people were giving him 8 or 9. So I think he had a good game. I think because everybody had a good game.
A 7, I think, suffices for me.
I just don't think he was the best player for us, which many people seem to suggest.
Who was your man of the match Saturday?
I had 3. I had Boyce because his all-round game was just unbelievable.
Yeah,
he was so good.
That touch over in the Wheatfield stand.
It's
as well,
unbelievable.
that Hearts have got the slow-mo for.
Yeah.
Oh my,
it's
majestic.
So good.
Gorgeous.
So I'd have Boyce again. I'd have Halkett. I thought he was just fantastic, and he added extra shit to his game, where like he started spraying passes like he was Suter, and it was like, oh, he's actually getting to this level now.
He can do that shit.
Yeah, like oh my god. And then I thought Haring was fantastic yet again. I just love him. I love him to pieces.
So Halkett, Haring, and Boyce.
Also, Kingsley was fantastic as well.
Standard, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I'd say the lowest rating I'd give is like a 7. I thought everybody was really good.
And
I just didn't think he was. No, I'd say I just don't think the fullbacks did a lot in terms of, and that's not an insult to them. It's that why did they need to? They had nothing up against them.
They weren't occupied. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think they both did well. I would give them both a 7. Like, I think they both did well, but I just felt others stood out and controlled the game a bit more.
If Atkinson scores, does he get an 8-9?
Probably, yeah. Because then he contributes to both goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
right.
He missed, but Benny bundled it in, and we're 1-0 up inside 3 minutes.
Like London buses, just so pleased for him. And hey, you love Cammy Devlin. That's my man Benny now scored twice as many goals for Heart and Midlothian.
Aye, but Devlin's not been fit to play any of the games that Benny's playing in.
Benny had a period out injured as well. It happens. And there he is. He's back out amongst the side. Back in the goals. I say back in the goals.
Back in the goals.
He can't be in the goals. But back to back games. Yeah, man. Just we're going to come to it later on, but I really hope that he's good to go for upcoming fixtures, or it's not going to be as happy an Adam, but we'll see.
Well, in between the two moments, there was a couple, 10 minutes in, Boyce plays a fantastic ball through to Sims, who takes his touch, and it's actually a really good save, by Max Stryek in the Livingston goal.
Can I just say, Max Stryek is another one where I'll watch him on occasion, and Livy posts these clean sheet stats, which are really good for Livingston, who you wouldn't expect to be so solid defensively. He's so hot or cold, that guy.
I think every 90 minutes, he has one massive blunder in him.
But will look shit hot, or maybe not shit hot, but will look decent or of a sufficient standard for the majority of games.
Yeah, definitely.
It's weird. But I actually think he's a really good keeper, if not a tiny wee bit error prone, like you say.
I think that's fair. But as we say, he makes a very good save against Sims. And then a few minutes later, in the 16th minute, Andy Haldy swings in a corner for Craig Halkett to just narrowly miss as it goes into the side netting.
That's a couple back-to-back. Sorry to cut you off there, but the St Mirren corner, I could not believe that he smashed off the bar. And the bizarre thing is, I look at Halkett and he's what, 6 foot, 6'1", and yet both chances seem to have fallen to his feet.
But this is the plan. This is the Fleetwood guy coming in, because people shared on Twitter, it's the exact same corner that Fleetwood used to do. They'd send it back post to a tall centre-half to take it on his feet and shoot into the far corner. Halkett has been twice now, got the ball, flung over everybody at the back post, taken it down his feet.
Zidane in his prime, but just can't finish it.
It just can't finish it. So this is clearly a tactic that we have. We're always either aiming for the back stick.
From 2 games now.
No. I don't know what's happening, but we're suddenly good at corners, and I'm very much a fan.
Oh, 100%, because we've got some big boys in the team.
Yeah, because that's how Halkett scored his goal against Dundee United as well. Barry Mackay whipped a ball into the far back post, and he was there.
Bagged a couple from corners as big Halks this year.
Exactly. But yes, it was not all sunshine and rainbows as it was on the day, because in the 33rd minute, Benny, in what is most worrying, in quite an innocuous challenge from Obalai, goes down.
It doesn't even look like it's from the challenge, does it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything. Yeah, it's a nothing moment.
Yeah, because they're both going for it, but I feel as though Benny feels as though he's got to get there that teensy bit quicker. And only then do we realise that because he goes down, it looks as though it's to his and probably Hearts' detriment.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's his knee again. It's his knee. And he was clearly in a lot of pain. He went straight down the tunnel. And following the game, he was on crutches. That obviously would happen anyway as a precaution.
Say that on Sports Sound as well. Yeah. Oh, no.
That's very, very bad.
He's literally just back in the team.
Yeah. And we don't have Devlin either just now. He looks like he's going to be out for several weeks as well.
Oh, and the annoying thing is that McInnes, having now been on the right, will probably get pushed back to slot in along. Oh, you're going to say about Toby Civic, which I'm
according to Nielsen, it's going to be Toby Civic taking his place.
Which I'm not against, but I had assumed that it was going to be, and this is just the way that my mind works, because I'm naturally, even when things are going so well, I have to find something to be pessimistic about. If it meant that Aaron McInnes would chum Big Pete in the middle of the park, then my man Ben Woodburn would probably be back in the first 11. So hopefully it's Civic and McInnes keeps his place on the right. That would be nice.
Very much agreed. However, I felt, so there was 10 minutes then left. I still think we dominated the rest of that half, but I felt we lost a bit of a rhythm up until half-time when Benny left.
The gaffer said that as well. And yeah, Benny going off did change that game. Probably, I was going to say change the first half, but yeah, it probably did change the game, if we're honest. Just because, I don't know, it just gives you something. Like, obviously now he's adding goals to his game, albeit that's only 2. But I couldn't believe that he'd entered the opposition's 6-yard box for the second time in as many weeks, and he scored in as many weeks. So even if it's just one of those a game, that would be fantastic. I love watching him play. Just a top baller. Wins the ball back, gives it on, knows his job, doesn't overcomplicate things, keeps it simple, and keeps us ticking. And like you say, our rhythm was lost somewhat. And it was to Livy's benefit, because they were still firmly in the game at 1-0, and we just couldn't really get into that groove again.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then I feel not our worst, because I don't think we played badly at any stage, but Livy's best period was the first 10 minutes of the second half. You were saying there about Joe Nubley. I think in the first half he was up against Halkett, and Halkett was just bodying him the whole time. At the start of that second half, he moved across to Kingsley and he went on that run where he took it down, controlled, bodied Kingsley, got in the box, and then kind of just seemed to fall over his own feet just before he was
fancy marking him.
Well, but this is
5 minutes, let alone 90. No, thank you.
But this is the thing. Alex Cochrane came on, right? Alex Cochrane went up for 7 aerial duels with Joel Nubley. Now, Joel Nubley is 6'2", Alex Cochrane is 5'9". Alex Cochrane won every single aerial duel. Nubley in total went up for 11 aerial duels and won 0 of them. He's very much, I think, a player that if you just look at him and you don't know anything about him, you go, right, target man, hold it up. When actually, his biggest strength is that he's actually quite good at the ball with the ball at his feet.
And actually, not slow either.
Yeah, exactly.
For a big man, he uses his body well, he's quick.
But I don't think he uses his strength well at all. Because I don't feel at any point, barring that one moment where he kind of did Kingsley, but that was mostly because of his turn of pace to get in behind. Our defence had him.
Kingsley, he then recovered a couple times up against him and whatever. It's not as though he lost that first challenge and was immediately writing off his chances.
Yeah,
that's probably what I love most about Stephen Kingsley. His determination at certain points in games. And I can remember when we were in a discussion last season about leaders, and I felt as though we lacked a leader or two. I think this squad, as time's going on, is really growing into their own, and we're seeing not just Craig Gordon being the skipper, but various outfield leaders as well that all play their part, all know their jobs, like I say, and we just look good as a real cohesive, strong unit. And when was the last time that we could say that about a Hearts team?
Probably since Nielsen was at us last, when we came up the previous time, and it was like, this squad is together, they're fighting for each other, and then obviously we did so well, adding just a couple of names, Rossi, Juanma, and stuff like that. I don't know though.
It's nice. I like speaking about Hearts positively, albeit it's not happened for
most of the time we've done this show.
Yeah, I was trying to work out of the 80 shows, a good 65, 70 maybe. But here we are, we're back. Come on, Hearts.
And
Love you lot.
The most positive moment of the day came immediately following that Joe Nugley chance, as in the 57th minute, Atkinson picks it up on the near Wheatfield side, plays it to Sims, who gets into the box, has a shot, but it manages to kind of come back to him, and he does incredibly well. He just toe poke it to Atkinson.
Spot
back.
On. Delighted he kept that alive.
Yeah, did incredibly well. And
as
then
is the goal scorer.
Atkinson, he doesn't whip it in, he kind of just lofts it in to the...
Football.
It's not even like a back post, it's just in the far side
in the
of the
vicinity,
box.
Chucks it in the mixer, just floats one in.
And Barry Mackay, right, I don't know how to describe it because I haven't really ever seen a goal like it, because he doesn't loft it, he doesn't chip it, he doesn't smack it. He kind of puts backspin on it. It's weird.
Caresses it.
But even that, I think that it's like a finesse shot where it's like you whip it. But he didn't do it.
Caress, it feels like he sort of opens the body.
But he did. I don't know how he did it.
It's a weird kind of hybrid from where I'd seen it, where he wraps his foot around it, but not with maximum power.
And coming across it at the same time.
Yeah, he guides it with the inside of his foot, which I didn't even know was possible. He guides it with his laces into the top bin, and it doesn't fly past Stryjek in a flash.
No.
You just see it looping.
And Barry Mackay has finally scored for Hamilton. And of course, it wasn't going to be a Benny-style tackle.
No.
It wasn't going to be a Devlin kind of open goal and they just have to hit the target. It was going to be
a screamer.
A brilliant moment. And
a howitzer.
I think the best moment of it was Tynecastle just like detonated, because there was that realization, oh, that's a great goal. It was Barry Mackay, and you see that with the team reaction, all the subs coming on. It was right in front of me. It was amazing.
Oh, see the angle that I had of it up the other side.
Yeah, you were right behind it.
Oh my God. And I think my entire role was just in disbelief as to how on earth has he just done that. And me and a good few of my pals, literally all single hand or sort of in sync, just all screamed, "What a fucking goal!" Because I could not contain my excitement. You know, I'm a big admirer of Barry Mackay. Have been, you know, I joke all the time that I've instructed Hearts to sign him, and I did. So I was delighted to see him finally get off the mark. And it's just an absolute beauty. He's been needing that for weeks, months. And that celebration that you talked about, I get the impression that that's exactly what it had been like if Cammy Devlin had broken his duck at Tynecastle as opposed to in Paisley. But now we'll never know, I suppose. But take nothing away from Barry Mackay, because it's an absolutely gorgeous goal. I've probably watched it more times than he has. I'm that sad. What a great goal.
Well, I know I have, because I tweeted it. And then I couldn't go on Twitter.
It was flying. I saw that. I'm slightly raging that I didn't put it out on the account. Yeah. Oh, just brilliant. And he needed that. We needed that. And can we like the best thing to come of this is we're finally, because everybody said it. Oh, this will be the week when Barry Mackay scores his first for Hearts. Oh, when's he going to pop up with a goal? All he needs is a goal. Because everybody knows that it's spot on. And now that's finally been put to bed, I just hope that, you know, he's got several saved. If he's got another hand in screamer saved for a semi-final, that would be fantastic again. Or even in the final, Barry, if you've got one of them in the locker, could be coming up against the side that you scored that against in the final. But, you know.
Or the side you scored for.
Yeah.
Did you see that he said that Rangers goal is still his favourite because he gets to take the piss out of Craig Gordon for it?
Is that the flappy arms?
So he was asked by someone, I don't know who it was, where does that rank in your goals? And he said that he would put it as his second best goal he's ever scored. The only one is that goal at Hampden, purely because he can mock Craig Gordon with it in training.
That's fine, Barry. We'll remember that.
Now Adam hates him.
I'm actually annoyed. I didn't know that. Why did you tell me that? What an arsehole.
You shared the article off the account. That's how I read it. But you
let's
don't read the articles.
Exactly. I just share a barrel. I share Ryan Stevenson's columns. And if you think I'm having a wee scroll through Stevens' columns, you're very much mistaken. I've got life to live. Come on. I'm cracking on. Trying my best. But I'm bad for that. I need to be honest. I'm prone to oversharing. Sorry, guys.
But that Barry Mackay goal completely.
That was worthy of sharing.
Yes,
that was fantastic.
Absolutely.
What a goal! I cannot remember. There must be somebody that scored a first goal that is as good. I can't think of many better.
Was Ozturk's first goal the Derby one?
Maybe, but that's really the only one, certainly in our time. There'll be older Jambos that will no doubt have.
There's one.
You can think of.
Rudy's return game.
The one against Rangers.
But I don't mean in terms of the quality. I mean in terms of there was it's been 5 years. Is he going to be as good? It's a massive game. I
see what you're saying. Yeah,
and then it's just like bang, return.
As a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of technique, that I can't, apart from Ozturk, and I might be misremembering, did Ozturk ever score like a header against Queen of the South or something in that season?
No, I think you might be right,
I think that might have been his first goal.
There can't be many, if any, better than that.
No.
Because everything about it's perfect. Oh, he's perfect.
There. But that did, however, kill the tie, completely dead.
Absolutely rubbish game. Terrible. Yeah. Not a spectacle, but that goal was worthy of winning any game.
I've got two things left. Livy in the 76th minute have their only real chance of the game. Shinnie goes reasonably close, but Gordon just kind of pushes it up into the air and catches it.
They also had a header, I think, from a free kick in the first half, where Jack Fitzwater, I think it is, sends it wide. Doesn't really trouble Gordon.
No.
Livy, man. Like, see when they first came up and they were earning plaudits. No, I'm going to be as complimentary as I can here. At home, at the Tony Mac, they were really tricky to beat. And I don't know if it's solely down to the park or whatever, but at home it felt as though they had nothing to lose. I feel as though Livy, this is merely just me watching them for a good few years now, are basically happy to settle for a point on the road at most clubs. Unless it's a real relegation rival and they feel they can get the better of them on grass.
I think that's fair, though.
You never really see them go for it. So
I think that makes sense.
I think they'd have probably snapped your hand off for a 0-0 repeat, if we're being honest.
Oh, of course, especially because we're doing so well.
Top six bracket, well within kind of the race for a European place, top six, whatever. So, do you know what? If I was a Livy fan, I wouldn't be too disheartened because, the first goal's scrappy. The second's a worldie. And they didn't really carve us open any or threaten, like I say. So, I don't think they can have many, if any, complaints, to be honest.
No, and I think, listen, Livy are clearly going to be fine. Yeah, I know that Martindale, he said, I think it was on a view from the terrace, he actually said he was like, his target every year is 10th. And
yeah, that's right. And anything else is kind of an added bonus.
Yeah,
given the budget that they operate on. And
fair play to them.
What, I was going to say, what do you think? Well, how do you think these other sides will get on? Like, Dundee United are probably a good bet for top six now, given that one in Paisley.
However, do you worry that it's like they've peaked too early? There's 2 games left, and it's
I hear that, but then I think they've got Hibs and they've got Dundee. I think before the split.
I think it is them. Yeah.
So would you back them to beat Hibs at this current minute in time?
Probably.
Maybe.
You back them and get a result.
Certainly, they battered them at Easter Road,
3-0
earlier on in the season. And I want to say Hibs might have got the better of them at Tannadice. I don't know. But elsewhere, like the league it's an absolute clusterfuck.
So Dundee United are in 4th on 39, and then Aberdeen.
I'm just going to get the table up.
Aberdeen are in 10th on 35, so there's 4 points between 4th and 10th, I think. And
yeah, Dundee United 4th, 31 played, 39 points. Aberdeen 10th, 31 played, 35 points. So it's United 39, Hibs and Livy 37, County Motherwell and St Mirren on 36, and Aberdeen on 35. My videographer mate Lewis, who's St Johnston's videographer, is adamant they will not finish in that playoff place. I would love to see what he's smoking.
I don't think they will.
I can't. Really?
I don't think they will. Not when the split happens and that bottom six play each other. I think Callum Hendry will just kind of grab St Johnston and go, right, my goals will just get you. Because, again, as I say, they've only...
They loaned him out at the start of the season.
I know. It's mental.
And he couldn't get a game for Killy.
Yeah. It's insane what's happened to him. But and I know, right, that out of the last 5, they have lost 2, but they've also won 2, drawn 1. They're picking up points at the right time of the season now, and Dundee don't look like they are. Aberdeen, well, that was their obviously a very big win for Goodwin, but they still.
You're going to say St Mirren will finish in the playoff place or something, aren't you?
I think it'll either be St Mirren or Ross County. I think Ross County are good, but their defence is just shaky. That about
County. Oh.
I have no affection towards Ross County apart from Regan Charles Cook.
Neither do I, really. I just think it's funny given like where they were to where they came. Like, it just highlights the league.
But as I've said since Goodwin left, I think St Mirren are not as good a team as they were under Goodwin, and under Robinson, they've not looked good in the slightest. I saw he made 1 sub in the 90 minutes. After his match, his comments after the match were that they deserve nothing. He was like, yes, we conceded really late, but we deserve nothing. And it's like, apparently he's changed to a back 3 when St Mirren fans are saying we don't want to play a back 3 at all. It doesn't suit our players, but he's just forced players in. He then said 3 weeks ago that, right, we were previously doing it the old establishment's way, so now we're going to do it my way, and they've got worse. And I don't see it going well.
He's a weird guy, Stephen Robinson. Do you remember when there was talk of either the Northern Ireland or the Hearts job?
Yes, I very vividly do.
And he ended up with neither. I think we were that desperate, we'd have probably taken him.
Oh, yeah, that period, I remember a lot of people, probably us in the podcast, if someone went back, we'd probably go, I would take Stephen Robinson. Feeling.
I'm not sure whether I said it on here, but I know for a fact I've said it somewhere that previously I would have taken. Now I'm not touching him with a
In fairness, though, previously he had got Motherwell like 4th. He had done quite well with them.
There was a season, I think they reached both cup finals.
Yes, he did very well at Motherwell.
But that's ultimately all it's been.
Yeah, and I just can see them finishing 10th. I think St Johnstone will definitely be in with a shout of it, but I think they'll. I think the split's so much of a factor. Because you're suddenly playing teams around you instead of like St Johnstone having to go to Ibrox or something.
But this is where the split's also a nonsense because
it's bollocks.
Like, if you finish in the bottom 6 this year, you're going to be raging.
Especially if it's by like goal difference or a point.
Exactly. And you look at like 5th and 6th that will most likely get beat off.
Oh,
the Old Firm for definite. Potentially us, although we're horrifically hit or historically.
Yeah, we're terrible post-split. Yeah.
Another reason why it needs red.
yeah.
But
6th and 7th are probably going to finish with more points than 5th. Sorry, 7th and 8th are probably going to finish with more points than 6th and 5th.
I'd be astounded if they don't. And yet you'll look at that and think, well, had we got, a couple more goals, points, we could have climbed towards a European place.
Especially because I think it's, let me get this right. I think if we win the cup, 5th gets Europe.
5th gets Europe.
Yeah, 5th does.
Oh no, I think you're right. I think I did hear that.
So imagine if you are like 7th and end up with more points than 5th, then we win the cup.
Even the side that finishes 6th is going to be peeling.
Yeah. So imagine that. You finish in the bottom half, we win the cup, and then 5th, who's like no one in the last 7 games, gets into Europe loving life.
Honestly, man. If the relevant Scottish footballing authorities are watching this, please can we find a way to abolish the split? COVID was your perfect chance to reconstruct the leagues. We've been over this. The Old Firm play whoever 4 times a season. I listen to Old Firm fans at work, and they're sick of the sight of one another with all the talk of the friendly, the fact that they more often than not will meet in a cup or 2. You could be talking 7 times in a calendar year, stroke season. There's an Old Firm getting played.
But that's exactly why it'll stay, because it makes Premier Sports, Sky,
it's like
and all
that
that
meme. It's like, I've won, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Like,
we
need the dough, but are we really that desperate for dough?
That's why.
Why could our clubs not perform to a more sufficient standard in Europe and raise the coefficient that way?
Oh wait, no. When we're about to go in and fuck that up.
We'll miraculously make it to the Europa League groups and then get shagged off everyone.
Yeah, say that. I've seen, by the way, someone updated it, so it is still the 4 clubs that we will potentially play in the Europa League playoff is going to be Benfica, Marseille, PSV, and Feyenoord. They are the 4 teams currently. We play one of those 4. We will play to get any potential of the Europa League. But if we obviously we get beat, we're going to get beat. We'll drop into the Europa Conference and guaranteed loads of games in Europe.
I've got a real affinity with Marseille.
Right.
I know I've worked with a couple of Portuguese guys that were big Benfica fans. I'd take either of the Dutch clubs, given I don't want to be slagged off by people that I know for our team being of not quite the same standard. Fantastic trips potentially lined up with any of them. Imagine watching Hearts in the south of France, it being absolutely scorching, and the Velodrome just looks incredible. That would be amazing. The Marseille Ultras
getting scudded 7-0.
Oh, absolutely battered. Dimitri Payet just running rings around us. Be great.
However, though, as we say, it doesn't matter if that happens, because then we drop into the Conference Leagues and it's like, right, we've got guaranteed that as well.
Yeah. And then we'll get scudded off the Scandinavian nobodies that we've never heard of.
Or
we go from roasting hot in the south of France to minus degrees in Norway and Denmark and all these other places. Or
like Leicester and Spurs and stuff. Like we could get them, or Getafe and teams like that. It's exciting.
European football is great, man. We've missed this.
We have. Well, we've never had it, really. Yeah, exactly.
What a time to be alive.
Absolutely. However,
Burkakara and Infinite. My God.
Next week, there will be an episode. So next week, obviously, there's no game because it's international break, which we'll come to in a minute. However, next week, we're going to do the Ross County preview, but also we're going to spend a lot of the episode speaking about the season as a whole, whether or not we think before another ball is kicked, if we have third and if we're sorted for that, and just kind of speak about Europe and how the season has went in terms of...
Should we get a guest?
I have a potential guest.
Do you?
In my mind, yeah.
This is news to me. Firstly, an episode next week, and secondly, that you've got a guest for said episode. Yeah. So this is great. I can't wait for the discussion off air.
Yes, it's going to be great. But, as I say, it's an international break, and Hearts have representatives across various nations, aka 2. So we have Nathaniel Atkinson travelling with the Socceroos for his first call-up.
G'day.
You have to feel bad for Devlin, who was absolutely going to get called up as well, but his injury prevented that.
We say this, I don't know any of the Aussie midfielders, but probably, given the form that he's been in.
Exactly.
I know of an Aussie right-back that obviously features on another Hearts podcast and has obviously been halting Nathaniel Atkinson's progress.
Exactly.
That's what that goes are.
Very true. Shocking that he's been included as well. And far closer to home in the Scotland setup, obviously, Craig Gordon has went. And then, kind of as a result of, I'm assuming it's injuries. Like, is it just because people got hurt? Scott McKenna had to pull out, right?
But let's be honest. I know Nottingham Forest are doing well, but that is a disgrace.
It's Scott McKenna, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, come on.
Craig Halkett has received his first ever Scotland call-up for the friendlies. What are your thoughts on our 3 lads travelling away?
Well, McIver, I hate to be, that guy that say, I told you so. However, we referenced the episode in Paisley where you said that Craig Halkett was phenomenal. And I'd said that there was a certain Mr. Steve Clark in the stands. I'd also said that there might be a couple players that he's looking at, a central defender being one of them. And Craig Halkett in that back 3 of Hearts and the back 3 that Scotland also coincidentally play just seems like a match made in heaven. Devastated that my man Stephen Kingsley doesn't join him in that squad. Surely only a matter of time. You're not telling me that Greg Taylor's a more viable option than Stephen Kingsley. And now Baz is in amongst the goals. You never know. I've not seen much from this Jacob Brown fella when watching Scotland. I despise Stuart Armstrong in a Scotland shirt. I don't think I've ever seen him have a good game for Scotland. So, yeah, this is nice. And I know that our argument is often that we want international recognition for Hearts players. It's just annoying if they're injured whilst away with said national teams. But then I was thinking about it, and I'm a believer that everything happens for chance. Like, chance defines everything. So really, it makes no odds. I know that obviously their chances are therefore increased with playing in more matches and whatever. But, you know, they could pull up at Hearts training. We don't know.
At least it would be on our time, though. And you go, well, they were doing that anyway. And not going for pointless friendlies that mean absolutely nothing. At least Atkinson's going to competitive
tell
games.
that to Craig Halkett, who could earn a Scotland cap. His mum and dad and everybody.
So this is the thing.
Delighted to see him. I take that back. I'm not having that.
No. On a personal level, I am delighted for Craig Halkett that he's getting that recognition.
And want them for Hearts and Hearts only. Yeah.
I do not want players getting recognition internationally when they play for Hearts. I don't care about that because it makes me go, no, don't go away on international duty because you might get hurt. Yes, exactly. What if Lewandowski scores 9 past Craig Gordon and it kills his confidence and he comes back rubbish? What if Craig Halkett up against... Is Yilmaz still Turkey's main striker?
It barely scores for Lille these days. He was on fire last season as they won the league. I don't think... has he even scored for Lille this season?
I don't know. But say he's the striker, elbows Halkett in the head... And
that's a great test.
I don't care. We're not coming up against that quality every week. We're coming up against fucking Livingston.
We could be in the Europa.
Not Lille. Not Lille. Lille will be in the Champions League.
Well...
And not Bayern. The two options there.
Are Marseille not third in the French league?
I have no idea.
I'm fairly certain Marseille are second or third in the French league, yet they could play us in this playoff.
I have absolutely no idea.
They're expected to get the better of us. Yeah. I'm going to check the league on a table.
Well,
this is what happens. This is the crazy nature of Hearts this season, football this season. I'm absolutely 100% all for it. Long live the shithousery and mentalness. Marseille are second.
Right. What's the points difference?
They trail PSG by 12 points.
Yeah, I didn't mean that way. I meant behind them. Who could catch them?
And they are, well, let's see. Monaco and Lyon in 7th and 8th are 9 points behind them. So it's another wacky league where Marseille 53, Rennes 52, Nice 50. Strasbourg on 48.
Strasbourg is doing very well, yeah.
And then Lille outside the European places. So
see, we don't need to deal with Yilmaz, so it doesn't matter.
You never know.
But that's what I'm saying.
Hey, and we got the finger out and won the league, Champions League, Lewandowski, ideal preparation.
So for Atkinson, for Gordon, for Halkett, on a personal level, delighted for them. Of course, that is what they will prioritise above everything because it's their nations. They're not going to be at their clubs forever, but they're always going to be that nationality. That is amazing for them. Halkett has been, in my opinion, our best defender this season. He's been our best player this season, in my opinion, and fully deserving of that call-up. I am just a selfish, bitter man and don't want my players getting hurt on international duty. That doesn't mean anything. It's not like Halkett's going to go... But Daniel's worried about me.
Yeah, that's it. McIver doesn't want me going, do you know what? Sorry, Steve.
You're going
to have to ring you back and say, no, you're all right. What's Grant Hanley up to?
Exactly. Now, listen, we have heard all the stories today that Kieran Tierney ruined them within 30 seconds.
So that just before we came on.
Yeah, so this is the thing. His confidence is already starting to plummet.
Representing Hearts in a great light.
And he's going to have to do all that and then come up against Regan Charles Cook. I reckon what he's going to be doing. But we do wish him all the best.
Jordan White as though he's Lewandowski.
Exactly. Wish him all the best. But just please, lads, do not get hurt. If he's
deserved.
Yes.
But I'd like to see him play. But you're going to be delighted if he remains on the bench, aren't you? You're a sick man.
They're meaningless. Give Xander Clark his his game against Lewandowski.
No, sorry.
Go for it.
The fact that you've just reminded me of this. I was watching Sports Scene Saturday night. St Johnstone fans are singing Scotland's number one about Xander Clark.
Yes,
He's not even been capped. You're a disgrace. Honestly, sick of that club. I had nothing against St Johnstone prior to this season. I was very much on board with their fairy tale thought. You know what? That's a fantastic achievement.
That's just because you had a mate there.
Now I've met Lewis. I like Lewis. He's a lovely lad, but his club, they've just gone to new levels to irritate me. They could well be the Livingston of, I was going to say next season. That's if they're still here. Of future seasons. McDermott Park. Honestly.
Well, what a way to finish this week's episode.
How can I find a way to rant still?
It's impressive.
I've got problems.
And that's why if
there's any GPs out there, hook me up, please. I'm begging you.
So at the end of all that, massive thank you for listening to the COVID-filled, tired, run-down episode.
I'm feeling much better now. Everything's off my chest. I feel great.
Great.
It's just a shame that you can't feel that same way.
I feel worse after hearing the rants.
Couple days at the game, mate, and then you'll be ripe as rain.
I'll be sorted. Absolutely sorted. But yeah, if you have enjoyed, please leave us a like. We're everywhere. You know by now. We're on all the platforms if you listen to us, just without the YouTube version. So please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice if that is how you enjoy us. However, yeah, as I say, we're on YouTube. So please leave a like, subscribe, all that patter. We're seeing an increase on it every single week. It's much, much appreciated. You can get us on Perth to Paisley on all the social medias. Also, you can give us an email if you want, perthtopaisley@gmail.com. Adam, where can they get you on social media?
Then get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, mate?
I am at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week to speak about the fallout from potential call-ups and seeing how they're doing. The season in general, and if we think third is done before we even then go to Ross County and preview that. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
More hearts!